for this session, Jonathan James.
Hey everybody, thank you for joining us. I hope everyone's having a great afternoon at Walker SlaughterCon. And it is my pleasure to announce our guest for the panel. Please join me on stage and let's give a warm welcome to Adrienne King. Jonathan King.
Hello, folks. All my happy campers.
Amy Steele. And Tom Morgan. Okay, so thank you very much for joining us. It's an honor to have all four of you on stage. It really is.
Thank you. I like the accommodations here. Usually we have these horrible little chairs, and you have horrible little chairs now.
Yeah, these are nice and comfy. So, I think it's really interesting because having all four of you on stage kind of represents different phases in the Friday the 13th franchise. And each of you came into it with kind of a different idea of what it was. Adrienne, you having, being there from the beginning, Doug, closer to the later movie. So I was wondering to start by telling the audience a little bit about your experience just getting started. How did you first hear about it? How did you get involved with your role in the movie?
Well, the first one, as we all know, was a tiny little independent, very low budget feature, but it had a huge casting call in the summer of 1979 in New York City, and I joined the ranks of everyone between the ages of 16 and 26 in New York looking for an acting job. It was a big casting call, and it went on for days, and then we had callbacks and read with different people, and then I had the, what do you call it? The whole screen test, the whole deal. And then I screened and I got the job. And I was Alice. Back in the screen. That's all I had to do right from the beginning, screen. But that's how it started, and as we all know, the little movie that almost didn't make it turned into a billion-dollar franchise. But on the first one, some people know nothing. My own jewelry, my own boots. But I think it got better for the rest of them. Yes?
Maybe?
No, it was a great experience. The first one's always the best.
So, why don't you tell me about your experience? I mean, again, because you probably grew up watching it. So.
I grew up watching it, and for me it was such a great, surreal experience because I was a big fan of Nightmare on Elm Street. So I was a Freddy Krueger fan. So,
no clapping out there.
Yeah, Robert, he's awesome. But I auditioned several times. I got the breakdown from my agent, and it said, we want a taller, more slimmer, athletic Jason. We want more of we want him to emote better. We want a better actor to play Jason. So they're basically dogging me. That's what they were doing. And I'm thinking emote. Okay, we want Jason to emote. They said we want to see the emotion in the eyes. That's what the breakdown said. Like, he's in a mask and he's going to emote. So I went and I did several auditions, and then I didn't hear anything. And then I heard that I didn't get it. Ken Kirsinger got it, the role, because they shot in Canada. And then when they did reshoots, they called me to do the reshoots in Los Angeles. So it was pretty awesome. I have a funny story I'll tell really quick. When I came to meet Ronnie Yu, the director, he said, "This is how I want Jason to move," and then he does this. And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right, it's probably beat up by now, so I'm doing it. No, like this. And he does it again, and I'm like, okay, and I did it. And then he gets a call, and he goes, okay, I'll be right back. And then he goes out of the room. He had a dead leg, man. I was mimicking his dead leg. How was I to know?
Wow, that's such a good story. Let's see. When I auditioned, they said, do this. The pitchfork, and so I did this. No. But that's a pretty good good story. I don't have as good a story as that one to tell, but I think that part of the audition process in itself is a horror film. But like Adrian, I think I went back a bunch of times and I had really no idea what. I mean, I knew it was Friday the 13th, but I had no idea what they were looking for, the characters. But
Have you seen the film?
I had seen the film. I'm pretty sure I had seen the film. Well, I had certainly heard about the film. And at first I thought, I don't know. But I'm so grateful I did. And as most of you guys know, that I turned down part 3. What a dodo. What was I thinking?
Diva.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing like a 22-year-old diva. Yeah, so.
You just
but-
didn't want to be typecast.
Right, didn't want to, now I would love to be typecast just because I can't believe how cool people I've met over the years. And when you were saying, it's been a different, it was going on for such a long time, but I mean, it's kind of generations, right? So as Doug's talking about it, he goes, yeah, I grew up watching them. I'm sitting here going, yeah, it's that much of a time frame. It's so many years. So, yeah, that's about it.
Well, I'm a stuntman, and like Doug, we work a lot of different shows, sometimes one day, sometimes we'll run the movie. So for us, in particular, when I'm going to do this movie, I got a call. And how many of you are Halloween fans and know about Dick Warlock, who's probably one of the iconic Michael Myers? He was a stunt coordinator on the show we were going to do, and he knows me, and he's looking for a guy to do the Jason role, so we called me and a couple guys, and he said, we're going to do this little horror movie thing. It's another remake, and it's like a new beginning, because they've already done everything they can do, this guy, so they're going to see if they can resurrect it a little bit, whatever. And I never thought it would be any big thing, and they asked me to lay down like I'm in a grave and stand up and walk, and evidently I did it right, because he asked me to do part. And that's about the way I got into it, and didn't realize what it would be. As a matter of fact, my character was actually a copycat killer, and the actor who played the role of the ambulance driver who was the killer in the beginning was Dick Whelan. So for years he went to conventions and he was, the killer, and he got credit for it. And I'm a stuntman, I never thought about it. And then some of the fans said, well, who's this guy who says, his name was Roy, in the movie he said, well, who's the stunt double Roy? What did he do? And he said, well, he was doing some of my stunts. He said, well, did he wear the mask? And he said, well, actually, he wore the mask, because Dick was in the first scene, and it was Dick, and then he was in the last scene dead. So all of a sudden I got an interest, and Dick Warlock again says, you gotta go to conventions. So that started it, and I had no idea that would be of interest, but thank you all.
So I just wanted to say that if anyone has questions, feel free to stand up. We have some prizes for those who ask questions. First come, first served, thanks to Funko. So just make sure to stand up there, and we'll take the questions. In the meantime, something else I wanted to talk about was your experience with fans, because we're talking about being at conventions. I know you all do quite a few conventions. Maybe you want to share with the audience some of your favorite fan experiences, because I'm always interested in hearing those.
Well, I can tell you, for me, my first convention kind of blew me out of the water. When Crystal Lake Memories, the book, was written and Peter Brad kind of unearthed me, believe it or not, I did not know we had a legion of fans. I really didn't, and it was before Facebook and all that stuff, so you could kind of. And he said, no, you've got like 3 generations around the world, and you should really get out there and let them know what happened to you. And my first convention where I got to really embrace my fans was Chiller 04 in New Jersey, where one of the kind of auditorium people like yourselves. Someone said to me, so why did you leave us, like very personally? And it was like, whoa, okay, you noticed. And it was the first time I shared my stalking experience, and it was quite a sharing of energy, and I really didn't realize how much I still had a little, I obviously went through some sort of therapy and my art therapy and all that, but it wasn't until I actually shared and felt the love from the audience. There, it was very special to me, and it healed a little piece of my heart that needed mending that I didn't even know about. So I thank all of you. You've given me a whole new, just a whole new experience to come and see you guys and meet you guys and exchange and share the stories of how we've known each other for over 34 years now. So yeah, thanks, and that's really, truly, I embrace you all and I thank you. And so this is not many conventions have.
They use my microphone.
I'm really I really enjoy the Friday the 13th fans. I mean, they are awesome. Seriously. I'm really happy to be a part of this world, and I've never had any bad experiences. They've always been positive. Some people are a little more pushy than others, but it's never been in a threatening way. I've had a lot of different fan moments at shows. One of them was in London, where this real sweaty, hairy guy came up to me and he was shaking, and then he starts taking his shirt off. I'm going, oh my God, what is this guy gonna do? And he had a Freddy vs. Jason and Freddy tattoo on his chest. I was, oh, thank God. But I'm really happy to be a part of this family. It's great.
I think I was maybe at the same convention with Adrian. That was my first experience, and Peter Bracke from Crystal Lake Memories, that book. I'm sure you guys have seen that. He, for some reason, had this magical way of unearthing all of us who had sort of forgotten about the film. And then somebody talked me into going to that chiller, and I had no idea what was going on. And literally somebody sort of dumped me out into the middle of a convention room. And I was really scared. I mean, you guys are all great, but you've never seen any of you guys before. It's really scary. There's a lot of black t-shirts, and there's a lot of dark, and I'm like, oh my God. Well, there was a couple fans of people who I still see occasionally, who came up and said, it's okay, do you need some help? Do you need some help? I go, yeah, I'm lost. I have no pitchfork. I have no chainsaw. I have nothing. I'm unarmed. So so it's a couple fans that walked me up to the table and sort of told me how to do this whole thing. And I think I borrowed a pen from Betsy Palmer. And
Amy, do you remember we showed up with no photos? They had to run to Kinko's. That's how new we were to this.
We had no idea. And so from that time on, I was like, oh my God, these are really, really, really cool people. And so I keep running into some of the same people, and it's I feel much more comfortable in this whole world, even though I wear this color and you guys wear that color. But it's really been a joy, and that's why I still do these things, is to see you guys. So thank you so much. And thanks for protecting me.
You're all looking at me. Actually, I've done about 20 years of Star Trek through the years, and I had done Star Trek before I'd done any of the Michael Myers of the Friday the 13th. And so I've been asked to go to a couple of Star Trek conventions, and I got broken in at Star Trek. And if you want to know about people in costumes and being strange, I got my taste of it when I went to a Star Trek convention, and they started falling out, and Klingon ordered, and they had their patrol of these guys, and the Cardassian vest. It was quite impressive. I mean, they dressed up in all their gear, so I was already broke in. When I finally got to come here, it was like, all you do is add the blood. So it was fun, and I always appreciated having somebody actually want to have my picture, my name, so that's a big compliment to me. And I think that everybody has some kind of hobby, something they like to do, they collect stuff, and with us, it's moving. So that's really great to be part of it. I think it is a big deal for me. So that's why I got to, I don't think I have any particular fan, incidences, but we've seen all kinds of fans, but they've all been good people.
Let's give him a hand. I have some questions. We'll start with you.
Adrian, we're from New Jersey. My daughter and I drove in this morning. Blairstown, did you ever go back? Do you have good memories of it? I know it's a legend to drive up there and go to the lake. I think it's a Boy Scout camp now. But there's been books written about it, filmed on location in Blairstown. If you look on the side of the truck, it says Stanhope, New Jersey. That's about 10 minutes from our house. So it's really cool. I told the kids one day I'm going to take him to the lake. And when Kevin Bacon was on Howard Stern, he asked him, what do you remember about it? And Bacon said the only thing he can remember at all is that they made you jump into the lake and it was freezing.
Yeah, I think we all remember Kevin Bacon in that scene, don't we? Yeah, it was cold. It was cold. It was a little colder even in the middle of October when I got the final time when Jason pulls Alice into the water. Yeah, it was cold. But yeah, I haven't been back. And it's funny because recently something came across my plate from the Travel Channel to do something where I might actually get back there to Camp Novi Bosco, which is, I thought when we first got there it was an Indian name. What a cool name, Camp Novi Bosco. Well, it stands for North Bergen Boy Scouts. Hello. But I would love to go back. I paint Crystal Lake all the time. If you're on my Facebook, you'll see, or my website, you'll see my paintings of it. So I'd like to get back there and take some new photos, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, this is kind of a coincidence. I actually took the tour recently this summer, a guided tour of the camp. And I don't know what I was expecting, but I was surprised at how remote it was. So I guess I was curious, for actors, actually running scared or being a boogeyman, is it easier to kind of be in a location where you're, I think like the island on April Fool's Day or stuff like that, is it easier to be scary or be scared in a location like that if you're living it, or like, is it kind of weird to be on like a sound stage and try to scream and run and play afraid or play scary?
Well, for me, I enjoy being on location. I like, I mean, it's the same, as an actor, it's the same thing you're doing, so you're giving the same performance that you give at Crystal Lake that you give on a soundstage. But as far as when you're looking outside and you're seeing the trees and you're seeing a real lake and you get some good scares in between setups and stuff as you're in that remote location, I enjoy that, and I feel it serves you better as a performer than being on a stage. Although I've been on some amazing stages that were built fabulously, like with great construction and stuff. But for me, I like the location, definitely.
And I like being outside too, but at the same time, I'm sitting here looking out here going, that there's been times where you have to act like you're so freezing, like it's cold, but yet it's hot out. And also, I think about the actors now that do a lot of the green screen work. And I wonder, I would imagine that would be really hard. Because I guess when I did it, they didn't really have that. But at the same time, I think as an actor, you're kind of into that character, you're into that script, you can sort of make anything come alive. And,
it enhances. I think it always will enhance. But as an actor, you have to create your own world right here. So if you've got that going and then you're placed in the boonies and the dark and there's the full moon and the sirens are going off at 2 a.m. Yeah, it's real.
really
It
was
definitely
good.
helps.
It's great out there, yeah.
I think that being in a location always helps somewhat, but what you see as a fan and as a movie goer is different from what we see. You see the finished product, it's already been done, they edited the film, they added the soundtrack, they put in the effects, and you're seeing the total thing. Now, when you're making a movie, it's different. And if you're on a sound stage, if you're out in location, it's a job that you're doing that requires a certain other kind of talent, just being scared. Just that you're actually creating the character in.
Uh-oh, we're losing them. What are we doing wrong? Hold on. I see like 50 people just walked out. Is there? Sorry, Tom. But I was trying to grab them back here.
Yeah, no, they're leaving in groups. I started talking. But anyway, it's a different feeling, and you're doing your job, and you can do it in a soundstage or on location.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you. Hi, what's your question? After we drop it down a little bit.
Alright, so, how, like, Jason goes around, like, killing people and stuff like that, but, why doesn't he talk? Like, kinda like that. Why doesn't,
That's a good question. Why doesn't he talk?
Nuclear waste. Crystal Lake.
There's something about the silent killer that's creepy.
yeah, this makes it more scary.
Michael Myers, Jason, what is going on behind that mask? You know, it's just something, you know, unsaid about his actions. He doesn't need to speak. And what if he had like a really silly voice like, "Hey, I just killed you!" You know, that would not make it very scary. So, you know, I think it's better the way it is.
I think your imagination is probably the thing that makes it work. You know, so the less that they give you, and the more that you use your imagination, it works personally for you, and he doesn't have to speak. You can just look and do what he does, and you'll put the rest together.
Exactly, it's your own interpretation of what he's thinking going there. Yeah, Tom said it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Were there any big challenges while you were filming?
Money for number one. We ran money a couple of times. And just working to make it look like a summer camp when the leaves were turning in the fall, you know, it was kind of tough. But no, ours was just trying to get the movie finished was our biggest challenge.
The technical stuff, the high-speed camera, when Jason comes through the window, we had to shoot a bunch of times, and that was hell.
Thank you.
Trying not to mimic Ronnie's dead leg. After I found out he had a dead leg, that's what I was working at.
I think just making a movie like what we're at night, they're all wet, it's cold, and the challenge is to keep going and do it. And you know, so there's some tough times. You don't think of those so much afterwards, but you have to do that. There's your challenge.
Thank you.
I got a question. What's your favorite death scene?
What's your favorite death scene?
You know. I'm gonna say me and my machete still hang.
Did anybody die? Well, I don't know, I guess I feel like I killed him so many times. But I don't know, it's my favorite death scene. I guess when the guy gets hung up and his throat gets slit. Do you remember that scene? Yeah, I didn't like that
This kid has the box set. I saw it this morning, so he knows his scenes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't pick any one death scene, but I know that they kept trying to kill me, and they weren't. My favorite one was getting hit in that front motor where I got his thrown
brave kids, you guys are getting up there and asking, and I have to say, they were good questions.
They
really were.
Every one of you guys.
Do you think if Friday the 13th was made today, would it be as big as a hit? Or do you think the timing when they made it, you know, the effects they were back then to today, do you think the timing kind of made it the big hit it is?
Absolutely. If it were made today, there's just so much content nowadays. And I've done several slasher movies in the last several years, and they're trying to reinvent the wheel, and they do okay, but I just think the timing of it, and something different than Halloween, and I just think it was just the right time, and it did, and it's become what it's become. And I don't think it could happen nowadays. I don't know.
You have cell phones, I would just dial 911.
There are no cells at the camp, okay? But I also think with Friday the 13th that what Sean Cunningham was looking for were kids that everyone could identify with, next door, so that it could happen to you. And I think when you relate to a character in a film, it makes all the difference, and you care whether someone's going to get killed or not. I think a lot of times horror films really forget that you have to care about the people first to care whether they get killed. So, I truly think if it was done with this, with the same ideology behind it, and the fact that we had Tom Savini doing special effects as opposed to CGI, those type of things, it kept true to itself. Yeah, I think it could work.
Yeah, you identify with the characters and there's a story. A story.
I kept thinking it was great that it happened the way it did with all the special effects. I think the way it worked, the way it was put together, the timing, that's what made it so good. To try to do it today with what they would have to do to satisfy computer generations, computer generating and all the other effects, it might not have the same impact as it did at the time.
Thank you very much.
Another very good question. You're not only a copy campers, you're smart campers.
Out of Friday the 13th franchise, what was your favorite?
What was your favorite movie?
I know what she's gonna
These
say.
questions are so
You know what I'm gonna say.
Know what I'm
You're gonna say.
Might be 5 for me.
I have to say Freddy vs. Jason.
What a surprise. How about let's all vote for, what is it, Jason Takes Manhattan?
Okay, thank you very much. Going back to what we were talking about making Friday the 13th now, I want to talk about that a little bit because I'm not sure everybody in the audience knows, all of you know, but there is Paramount got the rights back to the Friday the 13th franchise, and they're getting a new movie ready for November 13th, 2015. On top of that, there's also a TV series, which is in the very early stage of development, and that may jump back in time and look at the Voorhees family, pre-Friday the 13th. So I wanted to see what we thought about it. Have you heard anything about it? And maybe where do you think they should take it? Where do you think they should take this?
I just finished a movie with a horror film called Havenhurst. And the writer of it is Daniel Farrens. Daniel Farrens is the one who put the Crystal Lake Memories documentary together and also the book. We all know him, he's a great guy. And he is producer of the new TV series, so he was talking to me about it recently. So I have heard a little something about it, that it's going to happen. So that's exciting, because my name's in the mix for somebody tall in a mask. As far as the film, though, I've heard that it's going to happen also, but I don't know. I don't have any details on that.
I heard there's I guess is the Family Channel, The Final Girls with Jamie Lee Curtis. Has anyone heard about that one? That I think that they're shooting? Well, FYI. They have not called me yet, but, or I think Adrian,
So we're just waiting for that phone to ring.
yeah.
Well, while we hang out in Oregon and do our thing.
Let's
I
see.
haven't heard a word. It's up to you. Hey, it's up to the fans to let the Paramount people know, or the who's ever making the series that hey, there's some old campers that
Old.
okay, not old, mature.
Wise.
Why?
Mature.
Yes.
Grown types.
That's right. Well, anyway, you know what I mean. So, what do we do? How do we make them?
Everybody email, write letters.
Write letters.
And we have a question. What do you got for us?
Well, in Party vs. Jason, there was one scene where there was like a party at like a cornfield, and Jason went and killed all these other people, and it was like a montage of like a killing spree. So that part of the scene, in that scene was actually really cool. And I was just wondering, like, how did all those parts like go down? Like, how did you make all those deaths or come out? Like, there was a girl who passed out in the middle of the cornfield, and the guy came along, and then Jason killed him.
Your question is how did we make those deaths? Like as far as like the special effects or?
Like, yeah, kind of like that.
Well, all that stuff is planned out, and what happens in the special effects person, which they have Tom Savini. It's been different on different Friday 13s, but they go through the script and they go, okay, so this neck needs to be slit open, so we need to make a prosthetic, and usually they'll cast the person's neck that's playing the part that fits perfectly. That's the best way to do it. And, nowadays makeup, see, I have a real problem going back to the CGI thing, because I love practical effects, and practical effects hold up, and I've done some motion capture work, and it's just not the same as when you're actually doing something in a movie. And when these artists are so good that they make this stuff look real, like you could look at it on set, and I'm looking at stuff, oh man, that looks like that person's neck is slit open. So that person goes through the script and builds all those things, and then they apply it to the actors and build fake bodies too. And it's pretty amazing and creepy.
It made it a lot easier for me to watch horror films after I spent time with Tom Savini in his little laboratory, because, like I was saying, it was so real. If you come to my table, you'll see a picture I have of Tom and me from a Polaroid, because we were so low budget that I was collecting the continuity Polaroids that they were tossing away just in case we didn't finish the film. I was going to make a collage. But so if you go to my website, you'll see all those Polaroids that I made in 8x10, one where Tom is actually holding we're holding Betsy's head in a pan. And when I first saw that head, honestly, it was on a table and there was cloth over the table, and I honestly thought it was Betsy, like underneath the table, her head sticking there first. It was so real looking. So yeah, when they do it right here, it's genius.
What's your question?
What movie scares you the most?
Well, I'm such a movie chicken, and I'm from 1978. I think Adrian and I were talking about it, whatever year The Exorcist came out. I still have not recovered.
That's it for me. We were talking about it last night. That one did me in until, like I said, Tom Savini just showed me how it was kind of done, but I don't know. Exorcist didn't win.
It's so funny, because Exorcist, I saw it as a kid, and it frightened me so bad. It's just like, it's different than like a Jason, where you could laugh it up a little, There's something about The Exorcist that...
Especially if you were raised Catholic, went to Catholic school.
I just don't have one particular one that scared me any more than the others, I guess. When I was younger, of course, they all were pretty scary, but once you get into business, you kind of learn what it's made, how they're done, and you lose a lot of that.
Thank you very much. So this is going to be the last call for questions. If you have a question, come on up.
Wait, I want to know what's your scariest horror film?
Exorcist.
Still, how many Exorcist?
Still holds up.
It's still-
It's so scary.
Right.
We have something to say.
Yes, we do. All right, so yesterday, we were all sitting there in our little Friday the 13th wing saying, we're at a Walker Stalker convention. How big a crossover is this? So we decided we're going to do something really fabulous. We're going to, each one of us at our tables are going to choose something to raffle off. And we're all Twitter people now, some savvier than others. So what we're asking you to do is come up to the table and put down your little Twitter name for the raffle, put it into whatever ice bucket or whatever, and we're going to pull it for winner. So what I'm raffling off is a bottle of Crystal Lake wine. Ooh. And what are you raffling off, Doug?
I'm raffling off 5 pictures of your choice. And I've played several other characters, so if you're not a Jason fan, you can see some of my other stuff in Star Trek and Grimm.
Let's see if I can match that.
Come on, Amy.
I'm raffling off a dry martini in the bar when we finish, a poster, where I have like, one of those sort of posters like that. Oh, and the martini would be with me. You could get your own. And no, I would buy you your martini. I would buy you one, and then, but I'm not going to share mine. And
Double straw. No?
it'll be dirty martini. Slightly dirty.
Mine's a whole bottle of wine. Oh, and it's Survivor's Syrah.
Well, mine, we'll see who survives after my drink.
And this whole idea was hatched on the way over here. I was told about it, so I'm going to have to invent something. I said, well, if I have an extra mask, I'll sign it for and throw it into the raffle, so we'll see.
Did you say an extra Jason mask?
Whoa, that is big.
He's gonna check it out, he's gonna find it.
I'll sign that mask also.
Me too.
And also, what you have to do, which you didn't mention, is you have to join our Twitter.
Oh, that was it.
Put in.
Yeah,
when
you
you
have
put
to.
yours in, you have to join ours so that we see that you joined.
And if we find out you haven't, we're sending Doug out.
Yeah, that's all.
And what are your Twitter accounts so that they can follow you?
Good idea. Okay, so follow us on Twitter. And mine is Adrienne King 13.
Douglas Tate. T-A-I-T. No, 13.
One Amy Steele.
You did this to me. I think my Twitter is Tom Order Stunts because I just got it like yesterday. A friend of mine said, you got to get on Twitter, I'm going to set you up, I'm going to do this and that. So,
We're trying.
I don't know.
You can follow me on Instagram also if you want. It's up to you.
I haven't gotten that far yet.
If you do or not, whatever.
Okay, now before we wrap up, what they've been doing at every panel and every panel coming up is that all the guests have signed a Nerf bullet. They each have their Nerf guns, and they are going to shoot them into the audience, and you will get your own signed bullet. So we're going to stand up, feel free to fire it off. Okay, well, everyone, thank you very much for joining us. Let's give our guests a wonderful round of applause.
Hi, I'm Tyler Mann, and I'm at Waka Stalker Con, and I'm talking to Adrienne King.
Hi there,
How you
Tyro
doing?
Man, right?
Yeah, how you doing today?
I'm doing great now that you're here, Tyro Man.
So, how's the convention going for you so far?
It's really wonderful. I love Boston. I love the fans in Boston, and I'm meeting a lot of my personal happy campers from Friday the 13th fans. Yeah.
Yes. You were the heroine in the first movie.
I am the sole survivor and the first final girl.
Yeah.
Yes. So
Until episode 2.
I'm still the first final girl.
Right.
And and there is a camp of thought along those lines too, that Alice is still living in the woods somewhere, drinking her Crystal Lake wine and painting beautiful paintings, because we're convinced that it was a nightmare within a nightmare within a terrible dream.
Oh, okay.
So there
Cool.
you go. It's just another way of thinking about it.
It's a happy
It's a
ending.
happy ending.
We like that ending.
Yeah. I'm glad, Tyro Man. You like that too?
Yes.
Okay.
I love artists, so it's good that she's artistic.
Yes, right. That's
Doing
really.
nice paintings of the lake.
Yeah.
She doesn't have Jason in the pictures though, right? It's just scenic.
Well, you know, in my paintings, actually, if you go online to my website, adrianking.com, you will see sometimes I have a little Jason hiding in my water, because I love to hide things in my paintings. So the more you look, the more you see.
Oh, like the Easter egg hunts.
Yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
Kind of, yeah.
So, so you've been doing art and stuff since the movie, or like what have you been
Well,
up to since?
I've always been an artist.
Yeah.
Since I can remember, I was always had my crayons, and then moved up into oil paints. And I actually went to school in New York at FIT and majored in fine arts. And then my acting, which I've done since I was a kid as well.
Since you were 6, I saw.
Yeah. You've done your research. Just a little bit, yeah. There's a lot going on in terms of passions when you have to choose, if you're fortunate to have a passion or two, like I did, which way to go. So I kind of let the fates decide, and I was fortunate enough to be cast as Alice in Friday the 13th, and that took me into acting for a good chunk of time. And I've always had my art, and when I'm not doing one, I'm doing the other. So I get the best of all worlds. And then I've added Crystal Lake wines to the mix, so now I have 3 passions going on. What's the matter? Pull down your shirt. I was trying to do it quietly. We can edit that out, no worries.
I didn't know what was wrong with it.
Where? He looks good. You look good, Tyro Man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress, though.
I
It's all-
understand. Aren't we all, though?
Yeah.
Aren't we all constantly a work in progress? If you ever stop, that's when it's
Yeah.
over,
Yeah,
right?
right,
So we
right.
always have to be changing and trying to get it either better or just fine-tuned, tweaked. I'm always tweaking.
Yes.
Not tweeting. I'm trying to tweet, but I'm really bad at that. But just in
That's
case you
time
tweet,
consuming.
Adrian King 13. If you're there, I'll know it. Give me time to answer, okay? I'm trying.
get a lot of
I'm
them.
still trying to figure it all out, and I do have a lot of happy
Lot of
campers.
campers.
A lot of
Nice.
happy campers. I'm happy to say.
Well, it became sort of like a cult following almost.
It's a cult following. I get emails and all sorts of wonderful just communications via Facebook or tweets from people around the world. 3 generations. It's phenomenal. And what's really amazing to me is 34 years later, you're sitting here talking to me about a little film that almost didn't get made because we ran out of money almost twice at least, maybe more. I don't know. They kept it hush-hush. But I found out later it was...
Close to not happening.
Yeah, but
Imagine if it didn't. I mean, who would
Oh
be
my
without Friday the
God.
13th?
There'd be no Friday part 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Yeah.
How many has it been up to? 14? or
Well, I
something, or-
think Sean Cunningham, the director, is actually making number 13 right now.
Friday the 13th, number 13.
I think so. I could be wrong, but that's what I think is going on.
It's in the rumor mill.
It is indeed.
This is cool.
So tell me a little about Tyro Man. Where do you all hang, Tyro?
Well, we're based out of Melrose, Mass. We're on the community television up in
Wonderful.
Melrose.
Wonderful.
So you can see us on TV in Melrose and hopefully Malden and some of the neighboring towns because they rotate like what local
Right.
other local towns see it. And we're also up on YouTube
Oh, fun.
on Tyro Mag TV.
There you go. Good
So,
plug. We like to
yeah.
get those plugs in.
We got to plug all the time.
AdrianKing.com, CrystalLakeWines.com. I said Adrian King 13. What else am I missing? I don't think too much more.
Facebook.
Facebook, I have a couple of pages. I have Crystal Lake Wines by Adrian King in my spare time, right? I'm retired, by the way. And I do on Facebook, I have a fan page, and then I have another page that was supposed to be family, but all my campers are my family, so.
Right. So they just.
So
followed
they
right
just,
along.
chunk, everybody's in one big old page, you know. So we try and keep it going. And then I know what I can tell you. Misty Moon Gallery, which is a gallery that carries my art in London. They follow YouTube and they look to see what's going on here. So I'll tell them about Tyra Man. And also, I have a new movie with Amy Steele coming out, who's Friday the 13th Part 2. We are in a new movie called Tales of Poe. Edgar Allan Poe.
Oh, nice.
And I play the Queen of Dreams, and Amy plays the Mother of Dreams. And fingers crossed, it's going to be really wickedly wonderful. So,
Yeah, sounds cool.
Yeah.
Anything with Edgar Allan.
how can you
go
mess that
wrong?
up, right? And the director is just bloody brilliant.
Who's the director?
Bart Mastronardi.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, he's very, very talented young filmmaker.
Cool. So what other projects have been coming up recently besides that movie?
Well, like I said, I'm retired, so.
So you don't try to pile on too much. You got the wine still going. When did that start up?
5 years ago, and it's strictly word of mouth. I partnered up with the finest family-owned winery in Southern Oregon, where I live. I've lived there now for the past 9 years, and we were wine club members there, and they're just down the road some, and we tried all the wineries in the area, but we loved Valley View Winery, so one night after a few years, we go to pick up our wines, and one of the youngest members of the family divulged to us that they were big fans.
Okay.
And so, needless to say, the partnership evolved from that. And that's my artwork on the labels of my character in the movie. Yeah. You can notice Alice is in her canoe, and with each different varietal, the canoe changes color. And I've come up with some clever little names. So now we're in our 5th year, and it's strictly word of mouth, like I said, because we don't have a budget for. Well, we self-distribute, so we keep the costs really, really low. And there's no sales tax in Oregon.
Oh, that's nice.
So it keeps it really, really low. And yeah, it's been just one of those wonderful things that evolved without any effort, seemingly effortless, but just a fabulous time. And the fans are loving it. So I've got Cabin A, Sauvignon, because Cabin B is almost ready. We've got Moonlit Chardonnay. We have Camp Blush that just sold out, was so popular. We have a new one coming out next month called Midnight Merlot. But my personal favorite, right here, Survivor's Syrah. My personal favorite for many, many reasons. So all you survivors out there, this is to us. Cheers.
And that's the red wine.
Yeah, it's a lovely, dry, spicy, nice red, earthy. And when I'm one of these seasonal wine drinkers, and when it's cold and nasty and rainy and snowy, like you guys get here,
Yeah. Rain and all.
you know about that stuff,
Yeah.
right? You guys know about that weather
yeah,
thing?
Yeah.
Well, we all survived the winter, right? That's all I have
Right.
to say. Woo! So that's
Survival wine.
that's the wine I break out.
That's great. That's good.
Yeah, so it's been a great time.
What do you like painting? Like, is it mostly sceneries or?
I love painting nature and water, and my art got very dark after my stalker thing, but since then I paint all the beautiful things in my world. And if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see my paintings, or on Facebook. And on my website, I post all my paintings. And there's, like I said, sometimes there's a Jason hiding in the waters.
Now, what was the stalker thing? You had this,
It was before there was stalking laws. After the first movie came out, it was a nightmare. Yes, it was. But the good news is, I made it. We made it. The laws changed. Yay! And now I'm very humbled by the fact that a lot of people find solace and strength in the fact that I survived a real life nightmare, and Alice survived a not so real nightmare. But you know, we can all, like I say to everyone out there and kids alike, it's all about getting through to the next day. Don't ever give up, because when it looks darkest out there, you can say, if she can make it, if that girl can make it, I can make it. And I tell you, I've had so many people tell me that because of Alice, they would, and I never understood this, but they would find strength in her because she wasn't a warrior, but yet when she was pushed to the edge, she had to fight back, and she survived. And that's what I tell you all. Hang in there, you can survive, and tomorrow's going to be a better day. So take that from me. I've seen it dark, and it can get light again, and look how happy I am now. Yay! I think that's a good wrap, don't you?
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you,
Thank you
Captain
for your
Tyro.
time. Thanks a lot.
Tyro Man! I call him Captain Tyro.
Well, a song about never saying never and never being told what you can or cannot do. This is one of us. Before I got to fighting, or when fighting got to me, I looked to find examples on the field of chivalry, and I saw mighty arms, much stronger than my arms could ever be. So I thought perhaps that field was not for me. But still I stayed and watched the fighting till one figure stood apart, in armor newly fashioned and a helm more pot than art. But each blow is thrown with honor and the lightness of the heart. So I took that step which soon became a start. 'Cause she was not the biggest fighter, nor one to raise a fuss, but I remember being proud that she was one of us. And we might never stand together in a shield wall side by side. Because of her I lift my sword with pride. She was ladylike and lively, not the type you would expect, with a braver heart than many and a slot shot to respect. And I guess she'd once decided this was where she'd like to be, and I thought if she could do it, why not?